Episode 2, we're building things from 0 to 1 in public, and this time we are talking again about the Shopify app that I have been developing for about a year and a half, and this time I'm with 𝙎𝙐𝘽𝙎𝘾𝙍𝙎𝘽𝙀, our CTO of our dev agency, Bubble Marble, and he's actually the first developer who will take a look into the code that I have written. So no qualified person has actually seen what I wrote. So the prototype of the app actually works. It hasn't been yet submitted to Shopify, but there's actually a few improvements that could be made that we can hear from Ivan hopefully today.
Hey, yeah, nice to be here.
So just to maybe share a little bit more background than what we did last time, I will show how the app actually works. So, this is the homepage of the app that's actually runs inside the Shopify the Shopify store, and what it gives the users is the ability to just control a simple banner on the top section of the website. They can add some targeting by links. They can add some start end time for the banner for it to either start showing or stop showing. And then on the website, it just appears on the site below the navigation menu. This is a very simple, one function app. This is basically all how it works. So Ivan just downloaded the repository, the code of the app this morning. So yeah, let's hear what he has to say about it.
Yeah, so I've checked a little bit on the application, and the code that you wrote within this repo, it actually works. And it has some issues and some maybe improvements. But what is most important, that the code solves your problem that you want to achieve with it. Yeah, so to understand a little bit better, so you're using the boilerplate code from Shopify, right, to build this kind of the applications. This code could be retrieved from the documentation, which is pretty good on the website. And you modified a couple, 1, 2, 3, 4 files and added your functionality. I have a couple of maybe questions and maybe further improvements that we have here. First thing that I saw here is how you pass site ID or the identification part to the front end from the admin to be able to call a Shopify API to retrieve this banner.
Yeah. So I guess I can start sharing the code, and maybe we can have a look together how it works.
Yeah, maybe we should start with some explanation how it works, right? So you have an admin where you set your banners, right? So for example, we have a single banner that should appear. Yeah, so we have this banner with these conditions that it should be shown from this date until forever, and it is active, so it should be on the website. And if you go to the website itself, it would be there on when the website is loaded. But how does it work? So your PHP code injected in the HTML code of the Shopify application, the custom JavaScript code, right?
Yeah.
Which retrieve the information about the banners for the website by the API that you build.
So basically the way it works is whenever the site is loaded, it loads the script from my application to the front end, and then the script checks what kind of website is loading the script, sends a request to the API of my app. The API responds what kind of banners are there for this website overall, and then the script sees that there is a banner that actually meets the conditions of the current page, and it adds a banner to the HTML of the front end of the website. So it's a few steps to check, but it's basically the connection between the script that is here on the page and the API of the app.
So maybe we can start with like how actually this script embedded to the front end, right? How it appears in the HTML. So for that, maybe we can start with a banner controller file which you created, and the first method is like index method. Index.
This is the logic for displaying the main page of the app, the dashboard that shows the list of the banners. And the way I am working with the script is basically by contacting Shopify API. There is a way to check the scripts of the Shopify, the scripts that are in the store. So I'm just getting everything and then trying to send the current script to be added to the website.
Yeah, so basically the goal of this method is to have this script URL embedded to the website, into the HTML. Yeah. And here we have an interesting part. Yeah. So this is a JS main script JS, which you've created as well. So this is your custom JavaScript. But so to identify from the front end, identify what it
like which store is that, right?
Yeah, which store is that? We pass also this ID get parameter. Yeah, and you actually before you create this src path for the script, you retrieve this shop from the user, right? Because this is an admin part, we always have a authorized user. So because of that, we can retrieve the shop, and from the shop we can have an ID, and for this like a little bit of safety, you apply the hashing mechanism just to mix it in some weird way. So this part is I thought, like, do we really need this to pass it there? Let's go to the JavaScript file itself to understand like how we do the API call, right?
Yes, so this is it. Basically, the way I did it was in order to make the call, this is where I'm adding the ID. I'm asking for the API response for the specific shop. So that's why I used this ID of the shop, not to get the banners of every single merchant that installed the app, but just to use the one that we have.
Yeah, so this API content, this is a new API method that you've created as well, right?
Yeah.
So basically it works like, we send a request, including the client ID to identify like which shop is it. And we got the banners, and the rest of the logic is like how we are going to render them. So you have this function like get params, which is probably could be
on the top.
So basically the script find the script itself and try to parse with which parameters it was injected to the page. So we do that, and as a result we have this client ID. So let's maybe go to the shop itself, that where this banner works, and see how actually this script is injected and how it works.
Let me just explain like what I did, and then maybe it would make some sense. So basically what I tried to do is, this is the script that was injected first through the controller that I had, and this ID that we see in the link is the identifier of the shop. And like what this last method that you were showing does is basically it looks back into the HTML of the page to get this ID parameter, so that it is sent to the API, and then it gets the response for the shop to render the banner.
Yeah. So, but if you can see the script itself, right? So we have your parameter like ID something that you pass, but also we have an additional parameter that was injected by Shopify itself, which contains the name or URL of the shop. So basically, we can skip all the part of the passing this MD5 hash to the client and just use this shop parameter, because I assume that it would be there like in any case.
Yeah. So this is something that Shopify adds to like all the links there. So yeah, that's true. That would have saved like if we can check, that can save um well, I guess a few lines on just getting that in. So basically it could be passed as simply as a script tag with no ID, right?
Yeah. We just simplify it a little bit and remove this ID part from the script. It's like
Okay.
a small improvement, but still, I think it's
Yeah. So we could be parsing for that domain and doing the API request for that, right?
yeah. So yeah, basically, if we stop like right here, right? So you can do the same, but find the site ID by this domain. But also in this script, we have another API call to the Shopify to the Shopify itself, right? So if you go to the
Yeah.
network and filter out
Yeah.
the only the 𝙎𝙬𝘎𝘎 calls, yeah, it's here.
So this one.
Can you click?
Okay.
Yeah, can you click on it?
Yeah.
So here what we have, this is the API call. So this is your method, API/content, and this is like a client ID that you pass it back. If you scroll a little bit, so we have response headers and we have request headers. And here you can see that we have origin and referrer headers, which would be there as well because Shopify automatically inserts these headers there. So that means
so this information is passed anyway through the request that is made to API, right? So this is not something that I do.
No, yeah, it would be there anyway. So basically, you can skip the all the passing of any information about the site ID or the client ID, these parameters. So if we remove them, so on the server side, you can check the origin and referrer headers from the request object on the API side, and identify which this shop is.
This is cool. So then this is actually saves the script, right? So it's it can actually remove like this whole part, like a third of the script from like it's just not needed.
Yeah, exactly. So we remove the client ID part. We do the API call just without this parameter, right? So we just make it and we will get a response. And if you
so
go
the backend will so the backend will just decide which shop has actually requested it and can respond with the right data.
Yeah, that should be coded in the serve method of the banner controller, if I understood it correctly, because this API/content actually processed by the serve method of the banner controller.
So this is the whole logic that actually checks which banners are relevant for the current store and sends back the list of banners. So we could
instead of passing ID, we can get this parameter from the request, and by the origin or referrer domain, we can get the site itself, right?
Yeah, and then check for the connected banners. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's actually cool.
So yeah, that's just a couple of improvements that could simplify your logic, your I don't know, connection between backend and frontend. Of course, we can discuss like a lot of improvements on the JavaScript side, right? So we can optimize how you render these banners, how you perform the validations, and so on. But I think the main idea that it works already.
Yes, that I think is great. I mean that should improve the speed, I guess, right? If there's less code, or is it not that much?
I think it won't significantly affect on the performance of the front end or the API endpoints, But if you move iteratively through the code and like improve it every day, you can see the some improvements in performance and so on. But I think in your stage, in your like, I guess we can call it like MVP stage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All this like early performance fixes, it's just too early to see the effect, right? So because you can spend like a lot of time on improving the performance for like 100 milliseconds, but if you won't get like enough clients and enough like traffic, nobody notices.
Yeah, that's true. Did you see any risks with the code that I maybe have that I need to pay attention to?
Yeah, it's like a minor one, and I can touch it like a little bit. That I see that in your JavaScript file, there are some hard-coded values, which in general better to avoid. Especially in your case when you have a plugin for Shopify websites, and Shopify websites and this e-commerce web shops, they could be very different, right? With the custom themes, with the custom classes.
Can you like be more specific? Like which one? Like what was the hard coded thing that?
Yeah. I said line 90, where you are going to insert the banners itself. Yeah. So this Shopify section header.
Yeah. So this is actually like the logic to display the banner below the navigation section. So that's like what, just to explain, like this is the idea of showing the banner right below the navigation. So this is not good, right? To use it, like to have it hard coded. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to have it, and probably your plugin would work in maybe majority of websites, because I think most of the Shopify websites, they have like more or less the same HTML structure. But if you want to have like more coverage, it's better to put this in a variable or in a kind of like configuration section of the admin and read it from there. Yeah, because as I mentioned.
So this is a problem. So this can become a problem when the site is not standard, right? So the one thing I can imagine. So basically, if the design of the website is custom built and someone uses different classes, then it actually just will not work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So you can make it. Yeah, you can make it configurable and pass it to the front end. With default value, right? So if customers don't care and don't know what to do with this class, most probably it will work in his case. But in some more advanced cases, if you make it configurable,
that is smart.
It will work.
Yeah, that makes sense to actually have it, but have it like in the database that the customer can change if their website is not standard. And then give some explanation to like why it may not work and that they may need to check it.
Yeah.
Cool. That's nice. So then, so I guess the one topic that I was worried about, but I think it's not as important at an early stage, which is like scalability and stability of the whole thing. You mentioned that it does work and it's fine not to touch it. But what if it starts to grow in the future? So now actually I have no idea of how to even know if the banners are being loaded slowly on some website of one of the customers, of one of the merchants. Like how can I even like check? Like do I use like a test website, or how do I know that my API is responding quickly, or like anything that I can measure? Because this is something that I have no idea about.
I think even for the MVP, I think there's a very good like rule of thumb to monitor everything what you can monitor, right? So basically your plugin, Shopify plugin, this is a small PHP application. It's a Laravel application which you can control. So basically, if you use some very popular tools, like services like Sentry, which are usually used for error tracking, and the Datadog, which usually used for the performance, to measure latency, to have some monitors and even alerts if there would be some anomalies. So even if you're on the MVP stage and if you're not sure like if it will grow or not, it's better to have these monitors to monitor it from the beginning of the lifetime of the application. With that, you can have some thresholds. You can have some alerts on your email or Slack, and with that you would understand like, okay, so I have for example last 2 months the response time increased from like 100 milliseconds to 300 milliseconds because the web server is always busy. So that's time for scale, right? So maybe introduce another node, and that's a whole different set of problems about the infrastructure.
Yeah, this is something I have like zero idea about, but yeah, I guess I could try to at least add some tracking to just to measure how it works. Okay, yeah, I think that's quite insightful because this, especially the topic with the shop ID, that could have saved me maybe a couple of months of development time, because when like it sounds silly, but like I had no idea about any of that before I actually like wrote the thing. I have no idea how the tags should be working on the website, like how to call the API, how to respond like from API. So this is something that I kind of came up with while doing it, but it could have saved a lot of time and like shortened the code quite a bit.
Yeah, happy that I helped a little bit on that.
Yeah, so yeah, this was a lot of fun. Actually, I think that for the next time, I will try to finish up the app to actually publish it to Shopify, and maybe we can discuss next time the actual requirements of Shopify, and I will tell a bit about the past, because the app was already submitted, but it had a few issues with Shopify. So this is something that's I'm kind of finalizing with it now.
Also, we can explore a little bit more the Shopify API, and maybe we can even make it simpler, make it even more simpler, the implementation of the path in the site ID. You can focus more on the business logic, how to render the banners and what is the logic behind that, instead of dealing with the pathing parameters back and forth.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, I did have a problem a few months ago when I was working on the app and I was about to launch it for like a few weeks, and at some point things just stopped working because Shopify updated some of the things in the API, and I actually had no idea how do you actually track these things, and like now everything doesn't work, and now I need to rewrite something because it works differently. Cool. Thanks a lot. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.